Hey everybody, thanks for coming to my channel again. In this video I want to show you about the two-dimensional platformer that I cooked up, and it's incredibly tiny and it barely works, but I wanted to show you what I've done. The first thing I'll show you is once you have a tile set, which I will have to get into later, then it's pretty easy to paint tiles and make a level. So I'm going to do that. You have to add something called a Tilemap. Create and 2D object in Tilemap. And once you've created that, then let's see. I think, yeah, you can just start painting it. Now remember, I'll get into how to make this palette here later. But once you've got that, you can just pick any of these things and start painting them here. You can grab this tool and you can erase with this. You can also drag it around, but you can also erase with this. You can paint and erase, so you can make a big square of things. And no matter what you've got selected, if you hold down Shift and do that same thing, it erases it all. So let's see. I think I'm going to make most of this level be this blue. I'm going to drag around these 4 squares right here and make most of the level that. No, I'm going to use this. And in fact, I'm going to go above the sides of the camera here. And I'm actually going to make 2 tile maps. One's going to be foreground and the other background. And you can select which one you're painting on right here. So I'm going to erase everything from the foreground map and make that all background map. Oh, that was an accident. I don't even really know what I did there. Okay. So now if I turn the background off, you can see that there's nothing. But the foreground, I'm going to paint a little bit of a platform. So I'm going to grab this and paint that here. That's right. Something I didn't do yet. You have to set an order. So I'm going to make the foreground in front. And now I'll put a platform down here. Just drag it across. Oops. It's okay, I'll leave it. I'll make that another platform. And then I'll make another platform up here. And then I haven't figured out, I've figured out a pretty good way to do this next part about collision, but I have a feeling that there might be a better way. And especially when you get into like diagonal ramped platforms, I don't know any other way to do it. But this works pretty well. So I'm just going to create an empty object and call it a collider. And then on the collider, I'm going to make a collider. I'm going to make a, well, you can make whatever kind you want, box collider or polygon collider. I guess I'm going to use box colliders. But I used a polygon collider for my other level because I was about to say I had a diagonal area, but I think I'm going to need to add that just to show how it's done. I'm going to grab this area, paint that here. There. Okay. And I'm also going to make this part smaller. Okay. So, but still that box collider will work for a lot of these. So you hit Edit Collider, and then it's really hard to see, but you can barely see it. If I turn off the background, then it's easier to see. Edit Collider. And then first I can just drag it to a position, and then hit Edit Collider, and then drag this out here, and this down to around there. And actually, I want to put it just under the grass. And then I'm going to duplicate that collider, move it down here. But I'm also going to make it much wider. Move it over a little bit. I'm just lining things up. I know it's kind of hard to see. And I'll take this same collider and duplicate it again and put it up here. Okay. Okay. Now I'm also going to make several colliders for the edges. So make it smaller and much taller. Move it up and move it over a little bit. There. And then duplicate that, put it on this side. And then I can duplicate it, put it up here, but make it 10, 1. Wow, it doesn't need to be that big. 5, yeah, 3. Put it up here somewhere. Okay. And now if I select all these colliders, I've got one here. Need to move that down a little bit. Oh, undo. Yeah, I've got them everywhere except up here. So for that one, ramp collider. And I'm going to remove the box collider component and add a polygon collider and edit it. I'm going to move this corner to right there, this corner to down here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. That should do the trick. So, oh yeah, playground 2. Now if I put the background back in, that's looking pretty good. Oh, foreground. Okay, I just saw something. The foreground's got these 2 tiles even though I really wanted them erased. There, that's better. Okay, now turn the background back on. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of the background outside of that be a slightly different color, like this. There we go. Now, that's looking good for the level, but how do I make a player? Well, what I did so far was add a sprite, and all I've got here is a circle sprite, and all it is a circle. And actually, all it is a ping of a circle that I imported. And so the only thing I had to do to this, it was a transparent ping, and the only thing I had to do with this is change this from default to sprite. Well, I didn't have to mess with any of this or any of this at the time, and I did this months ago, but I didn't know I'd be using it for a platform game. But I dragged this onto the new sprite. Yeah. Wait. New sprite. No. That's not what I do. New sprite. It says sprite, and I drag this on there. There we go. And where is this new sprite located? Let's give it an order, and let's make it 0.5, 0.5, and the Z value doesn't matter here for 2D stuff. And that's a fine position for a starting point. Let's give it a rigid body 2D, and I don't think you need to touch any of this stuff. And then finally, we just need, well, we can just see if that does anything at all. Let's test it out. Okay, it fell right through the colliders. So what did I do there? Wait, what collider was it? Let's remove the background so we can see clearer. Collider. That's that one. Okay. Make that smaller. So this is right platform, right floating. This one is bottom grass. This one is step up grass. And right, left, and top. Okay. Ramp. Okay. So this bottom grass one didn't collide with that. Edit the collider. Yeah, looks about right. Okay. Yeah, it's obvious in hindsight, but collider, the player needs a collider as well. Now let's see how close that, how tightly. Nope, we need to lower that a little bit to right there. I bet it'll work now. Yeah, great. So now I'm going to move it back down here. Hit play. Should hit this bottom platform. Good. Now let's add a little bit of control to this. I'm going to make clear this is not a good controller. It's very simple, but it gets the job done for now. So let's play it, and then we'll take a look at it briefly. Moves it around a little bit. That's really slow. So let's make this speed 500 instead. It's a little better. Jump. You can jump like that. And you can jump right off the screen. And so, in fact, let's fix that on the camera. Let's add this one other script. I only made 2 scripts for this. Smooth follow 2D and tell it who to follow. Yep, that's working. It's actually a little bit smoother when the recorder that's recording this video is not on. So I'm going to save that. Now let's go look at the code. There's only a little bit. A simple controller checks the velocity, it checks the input values. So the horizontal axis, if it's greater than 0, then it adds a small force. And if it's less than 0, it adds a small force the other direction. And the force is based on the speed, which we just changed. We just changed it from 20 to 500, and I'm going to put a 500 here for a default value. That's a better default value. and then get key down space adds a small force going up based on the jump speed, which is also 500 at the moment. That seems to be working. Also, max velocity makes it so it doesn't fly around the screen too quickly, because if you hold down get axis horizontal, you hold down to the right. Without this, it just keeps adding forces to the right, and it gets a little unwieldy. So it clamps the magnitude of the velocity if it's too big. Okay, now let's look at the camera. This is a really simple damping approach. So if the target's valid, then it gets a few things. It's going to change the coordinate system of the target's position so that we can use that in this next call right over here. And I'll be honest, I've got this working, but I'm not even sure that this is even necessary. But then it finds basically the center point of the viewport, and it finds that in world coordinates, stores that here, and then it figures out how far the player is off center by subtracting those. Then it figures out the next position for the camera to go to by saying transform.position plus player off center. And then it uses the smooth damp to go from the current position to the next position. That's just required, and that's the value of the damping that we've specified in the inspector. That's pretty simple. And that's all the scripts that I've got here. Let's see. The one other major thing I did was I changed the camera to, oh yeah, it was already using Skybox, but I changed the Skybox. I went to lighting, settings, and changed the Skybox material just back to the default Skybox. So now you can't really see it here, but if we were to go add some slightly different tile palette things for the background, like this. Let's put that in there. Paint. Foreground. Ah. Okay. I kind of meant to put all this purple as part of the background, but okay, I'll put that there, and that there, and then a couple others down here too, and I'll actually put one here too, right there. Oh, that's on the foreground, so erase that. Okay, I'm going to go to the background, and I accidentally added a few things, so let's clear these. Okay, so that should do the trick. Let's go take a look at that. Turn the foreground back on and hit play. And you can see things moving through the background. You can see the background moving through that little window. And I like that. It adds a parallax effect. So we've got a really simple platformer here working. Now, how did I get these sprites into this? Well, let's see if I can reproduce that. I started with a sprite sheet. Okay, spritersresource.com. And I went to Amiga, and I found this Blaze game. And on another website, it says that the owner created this in like 1992. He created like 2 levels of this game and gave up. So the tileset has a BSD license and is free. This might even be bigger than what I've got. So download this sheet, and let's go take a look at that. see. Here. I'm going to open this up in Pixelmator. And in here there's a way, what was it? There you can select a color. Select color. That color. Okay. And now it's selected everything that's that color. Very carefully. And then if you just literally hit delete, it deletes them all. And then if you export that as a ping, it'll make a transparent ping for you. Okay. Now I saved it to, wait, where did I save it to? Unity. This one? No. This. Yeah. Okay. So now I've got this. Here's Unity. So I'm going to drag that. I'm going to drag new tiles. I'm going to drag this in here. There's a couple steps here. So one of them is it's imported now, but if you look at the inspector, it's got sprite and 2D single, and we need to change that to multiple. And we need to change this to 16. And then we need to click on the sprite editor. We have to apply the settings, and then from here you can see that all the transparency is still there. That's good. But we need to do this slice thing. Automatic, pivot center, pivot. I don't care about the pivot. Grid by cell size, that's what we need. 16. 16. Slice. Let's go take a look at this. Yeah. The lines are perfectly lined up with the pixels. That's exactly where we wanted them. So now, this actually takes a while, but hit apply, and it's going to save them all down. There's like 2,000 of them, so I'm going to hit pause. And we're back. So now you just give it a name. Blaze. I'm going to say it new sprites. New tiles. New tiles sliced. It says 16 and 16. That's good. Cool. Enter. And now close this. Oh, okay. Well, I got to apply that again, and it'll do it to thousands of sprites. Okay. Almost done. Okay. Now, new tiles is here, and it's got all these thousands of tiles in it. But now, here's a tile palette, but we need a new tile palette. So create new tile palette. Okay, create that. And it says where you want to, it asks you where you want to save it. New tile palette. Okay. And now you drag the new tiles here. And generate tiles in the same folder. And this takes longer than the other. So I'll be back in a minute. I didn't tell you what these things are. They actually, usually these come out of someone going into the memory in the computer and ripping the images out. And so these are all the tiles in the whole game. There's a lot of different ones in here, like clearly there would be copyright issues doing this, but you can go to NES and find tons of games. I saw Super Mario Brothers just now. There we go. And probably, yeah, here's World 1-1, all the... Oh, that's interesting. This is not a tile. That's cool. That's just the whole picture of the whole game, the whole level. There might be a tile map in here, tileset. Here. There we go. All the tiles in the game right there. And you might find this interesting. If you zoom in on this stuff, there's a lot of similar tiles. There's not all that much variety. Memory was really limited back then, but different tiles and different palettes. And it could be on the actual NES that these weren't even stored separately. They were just palette swapped. I don't remember seeing that, but maybe that's when it blinks when something happens. And the bush here is the same sprite as the top of the clouds. Just some fun trivia. Okay, let's see if it's done. Probably not. No. We'll keep waiting. So it's been like 3 minutes. And we're back. So now the new tile palette has all these possible tiles. And that means we can do what we were doing before and just drag these, and if we select the right tile map, paste them in. I'm going to undo that. Now that's all I had to show you for today. That's quite a bit though. Oops. I hope that was useful, and if it was helpful for you, leave a like down at the bottom. And if you like videos like this, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for coming to my channel one way or the other, and I'll see you in the next video.